Awakening to the hidden truths, our symbols replacing our sacred reality. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It felt like I was stumbling through some fog, grasping at echoes of whispers that promised answers but gave none. My nights blurred into a strange tapestry, drenched in vivid colors but devoid of clarity. I'd wake up with my heart racing, skin glistening with sweat, haunted by symbols I didn't understand. Each one more haunting than the last, a key, an eye, a doorway, the moon glowing like it held secrets just for me. Doubt gnawed at me. I stood in front of the mirror and whispered my fears. The world felt too chaotic, symbols floating everywhere like fireflies in the night, yet leaving me more confused than illuminated. They flashed on television, danced in graffiti, layered themselves in the cracks of the sidewalk. Was I losing my mind? Or had I just begun to see? Meditation became my refuge. Idaho closed my eyes, breathed deep, and sensed the energy crackling around me. Moments of silence spoke volumes. I could feel the earth pulsing, urging me to listen. One day, while lost in that tranquil space, a breeze flickered through the room, wrapping around me, whispers rustling like leaves telling me that maybe I was on the brink of something profound. Questions spiraled. Why did the owl call to me every night from the oak tree outside my window? Why did the shadows flicker, teasing with hints of truth? Signs felt like breadcrumbs, but where did they lead? My hands trembled as visions blazed in my Mindan, unfolding road guided by shimmering lights flickering beyond the tangible. And then there was that moment under the full moon, a chilling clarity cutting through my fog of confusion. I felt it something beyond the ordinary. The stars seemed to pulse, laughing, beckoning, waiting for me to discover what lay hidden in their glow. But just when I thought I grasped the weight of it, a shift in the air, a quiet tension chilling my spine echoed my earlier dreams. Who was I to interpret these signs? What if I was merely a pawn in a game far bigger? The silence pressed around me, a promise or a warning. I opened my eyes, heart pounding, but the answers, they danced just out of reach. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The days that followed my moonlit revelation shifted in peculiar ways. The sun rose with a soft glow that felt charged, the air thickened with anticipation. I felt an almost magnetic pull toward the old bookstore at the corner of my street, a place I hadn't visited in years. It had always been a sanctuary of words and thoughts, yet I'd let the heaviness of my busy life sweep me away from its embrace. As I pushed open the door, the tang of aged paper enveloped me, igniting that familiar spark of curiosity. Dust motes danced in the light filtering through the window, and I felt my pulse quicken as I wandered the aisles. My fingers traced the spines of the books, absorbing their energy, stories waiting to be unearthed, wisdom hidden in plain sight. Each title felt laden with the potential to unlock another piece of the puzzle. Then, my eyes caught a glimmer. On a forgotten shelf, nestled between two sizable volumes, lay a small, leather-bound book, worn yet inviting. Its cover, a soft brown with embossed symbols that mirrored many of my own dreams, whispered to me. The language of symbols, it read in delicate letters. I reached for it, a thrill coursing through my veins as I opened the cover. Inside, the margins were filled with handwritten notes, a trail of insights left by a kindred spirit, perhaps just as lost and curious. That I flipped through the pages, absorbing the ideas about symbols as ancient languages, means of communication between the seen and the unseen. Each glyph and design spoke of collective human experience, a map to our deeper realities. The book proposed that instead of merely interpreting signs, we fell into their rhythms, interacting with the universe and shaping our paths through conscious recognition. As I read, the shadows of my doubt began to lift. These symbols were not just random echoes, they were invitations, lighthouses guiding me through the fog. I realized that every glyph haunting my dreams held not only a message but a question directed at my soul, each urging me to delve deeper within myself. The store owner, an elderly woman who radiated wisdom, approached me. Her gentle smile carried the weight of unspoken stories. "It seems you found something special," she said, her voice a soft breeze that enveloped me. "Sometimes, the universe speaks to us through the languages we've forgotten that we spoke for hours, sharing our thoughts on symbols as conduits of energy." She revealed her own experiences, tales of synchronicity that wove through her life like golden threads, binding moments that seemed random into a magnificent tapestry of meaning. She urged me to trust the process, to embrace the uncertainty as a canvas on which I could paint my journey. That encounter became a revelation, as if the universe was gently nudging me forward, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this quest for understanding. As I left the bookstore, the evening sky lit with streaks of orange and purple, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The weight of my previous confusion began to lift, replaced by a feather-light curiosity, yet as the days passed, the deeper questions loomed on the horizon. What if the very act of seeking brought more questions than answers? Was the journey itself the destination, or was there a greater truth awaiting us all? I often returned to my meditation, grappling with these mysteries, seeking guidance from the signs that fluttered through my consciousness that I could feel the world alive around me, and the owl's call grew more urgent, echoing my sentiments, as if it were reminding me of the hidden truths still waiting to be revealed. I was on the brink of something vast, a vastness that both excited and terrified me. In the stillness, I began to wonder, did the symbols hold the answers I sought, or were they merely reflections of the questions buried deep within? The stars twinkled above me, unfathomable and enigmatic, casting their light upon my journey, a journey that felt as infinite as the cosmos itself. The sun began its dance across the sky, casting long shadows that stretched across my bedroom walls, merging with the dreams still swirling in my mind. Morning light filtered through the sheer curtains, illuminating the small leather-bound book I had placed on my nightstand, a newfound companion in my spiritual exploration. As I sipped tea, its warmth radiating through me, I felt a gentle stirring, a subtle invitation to delve deeper into the mysteries of existence. Days turned into a blur of introspection, and each moment unfolded like a petal blooming under the sunlight. I found myself revisiting the old bookstore frequently, enchanted by the serendipity of finding not just a book, but a way to illuminate the shadows of my psyche. I began to notice more connections in life, the way a certain phrase in a book echoed a passing conversation, or how a recurring symbol in my dreams coincided with fleeting thoughts. It was as if an intricate web was being spun around me, connecting the disparate strands of my reality. One rainy afternoon, while savoring the smell of damp earth and fresh rain from the open window, I decided to take a walk through the nearby park. The rhythm of raindrops became a soothing melody, and each step on the wet pavement felt intentional, as though I were part of a larger choreography. The world seemed to pulse with a life force that was impossible to ignore. While strolling past the lake, I noticed a gathering of crows perched atop a gnarled tree. Their cawing formed a raucous symphony that drew my attention. Intrigued, I stopped, watching their movement show. They flitted and danced amid the branches, seemingly communicating in their own secret language. I felt the tug of instinct pulling me closer, urging me to watch closely. Suddenly, one of the crows flew down and landed a few feet away from me. The bird was striking its glossy black feathers shimmering with blues and purples, striking against the muted backdrop of the day. For a moment, our gazes locked. Time slowed, and in that charged silence, I felt a surge of understanding. This was not just a bird but a messenger. The ancient symbolism of crows, heralds of change and transformation, began to weave itself into my consciousness. As if compelled by some unseen force, I reached into my pocket and drew out the small notebook where I had begun documenting my dreams and insights. My pen glided across the page, sketching the crow and the essence I felt emanating from it. With each stroke, a wave of clarity washed over me. I wrote not only about the bird but also about how it mirrored my journey, a harbinger of the profound shifts happening within me. Yet still, I was left grappling with the deeper meaning behind this encounter. What truths are hidden in plain sight? I asked myself, my mind racing ahead. I reflected on the notion that symbols and signs were more than mere reflections, they had the potential to guide us into unknown territories of our spirit. Each encountered symbol could be both a question and an answer, a duality that confused me yet deeply intrigued me. As the sun peeked through the clouds, casting a shimmer on the lake's surface, I pondered the crows' relentless dance in the trees. Were they inviting me to transform my perspective, to view my inner journey through a lens that embraced wonder? Or were they urging me to confront fears that lurked beneath the surface of my understanding? That evening, as I sat on my porch watching twilight seep into the sky, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. I could hear the soothing call of the owl again, its voice weaving through the air like a haunting melody. I closed my eyes. In the quiet, between thought and breath, a vision unfurled, fragmented images of distant lands, ancient symbols etched into stone, and people faces lined with wisdom, illuminating paths I had yet to tread, and amidst it all, a question emerged that felt as electric as the stars. What if each symbol beckoned me to unveil not just hidden truths about the world but hidden truths about myself? What if the journey of awakening was an infinite spiral, deeper and more complex with every twist and turn? A realization dawned like the sun breaking through heavy clouds. My quest was not merely to decipher the language of symbols, but to embrace the layers of my own reality, still hidden beneath a veil of perception. With these thoughts swirling in the depths of my mind, I sat in stillness, contemplating the vastness ahead. What wonders awaited in the interplay of light and shadow, and how would each new symbol guide me further into the depths of my own sacred reality? In the days that followed, the dance of mystery and revelation intensified, drawing me into an increasingly intricate tapestry of signs. Each moment felt charged with an electric energy that hinted at deeper connections waiting to be unearthed. The echo of the crows still resonated within me, their symbolism surfacing in my thoughts at the most unexpected times, illuminating fleeting opportunities for self-discovery. One evening, while leafing through the leather-bound book, I stumbled upon a passage that spoke of portals, thresholds that connect our ordinary world with other realms of existence. The author described how we often overlook these portals, blinded by routine and dismissive of the magic in our surroundings. My breath caught in my throat, the words reverberating deep within my soul. What if the crows were not only messengers but also guardians of these portals, signaling moments of potential transformation? Deciding to take action, I set out once more beneath the twilight sky, drawn instinctively to the park where I had first encountered the crows. As I walked along the familiar path, the cool air wrapped around me like a soft embrace. I made my way to the lake, eager to seek out the wisdom hidden in the water's depths. As I arrived, I found myself alone with only the gentle lapping of the water against the shore and the soft rustle of leaves whispering secrets overhead. This time, however, my heart pulsed with a different rhythm. I closed my eyes and focused on the sounds around me, straining to listen more deeply to the murmurs of the earth and the soft conversations of the trees. Suddenly, a shimmering glint caught my eye as the first stars began to appear in the dusk. Drawing closer to the water's edge, I knelt down, gazing into its clear depths as ripples formed from the gentle breeze. At that moment, an unseen force directed my gaze toward a stone submerged just below the surface, partially covered in moss. As I reached out to touch it, a wave of warmth flooded through me, a sensation both grounding and exhilarating. I pulled the stone from the water, and my heart raced as I examined its unique markings, an intricate series of swirls that seemed to dance along its surface, alive in the muted light. Holding the stone in my palm, I felt the weight of countless stories embedded in its very fabric. It was a relic of time, a silent witness to the ebb and flow of life. As I traced the patterns with my fingers, memories stirred within me, bubbling to the surface, concepts of love, loss, and the universal journey of healing. What had once been a forgotten aspect of myself began to reclaim space in my consciousness. Inspired, I opened my notebook once more, my pen rushing across the paper as though it were being guided by a force beyond myself. I wrote about the stone, its symbology of interconnectedness. It invited me to see the threads that bind all beings, suggesting that we are never truly isolated, but part of a greater whole. Each swirl mirrored the complexities of our own stories, intertwining in the vast web of existence. Yet, as my reflections deepened, a new inquiry emerged. Were we mere spectators to symbols that appeared before us, or did they require an active engagement, a willingness to ponder our role and their significance? The possibility lingered in the air, teasing me with the realization that my journey was not just a passive collection of signs, but rather an invitation to participate in the unfolding narrative of life. That night, under a canopy of stars, I lay beneath the expansive sky, pondering the mysteries surrounding me. The wind whispered ancient truths and fears alike, weaving a golden thread of connection to everything I had encountered. I felt both a grounding sense of belonging and an unsettling urge to delve deeper, to explore the realms that beckoned me beyond the familiar. As I closed my eyes, the vision returned images of the stone intertwined with those of the crows, each carrying lessons vital to my growth. I questioned the nature of my own reality. What if every symbol invited a dialogue? Not just within myself, but with the universe at large. What if in recognizing these symbols, I was forging a bond that transcended time and space? In the silence that followed, I welcomed the weight of these musings, my heart a canvas for the profound questions yet to unfold. What hidden truths lay in the realms I had only begun to explore? And how could the evolving language of symbols guide me through the labyrinth of my own spirit, illuminating paths yet unseen? With each breath, the mystery deepened, and I embraced the endless journey of discovery that awaited. The days that followed became a tapestry of exploration, each moment steeped in a thirst for understanding. The stone, now resting on a small altar in my room, pulsed with quiet energy, beckoning me to engage with the hidden truths that stitched together my existence. I found myself returning to the park each evening, feeling a compulsion to express my newfound questions to the world, as if the trees and water could provide answers only if I allowed them to hear my voice. One twilight, as I traced my usual steps along the familiar path, I noticed something different in the air, a tangible tension vibrating between the branches and the breeze, as though the universe itself held its breath. Drawn towards the lake, I noticed more crows gathering, their silhouettes etched against the waning light. They seemed to acknowledge me, their heads cocked to the side as if encouraging me to take a deeper look. I felt a magnetic pull toward the water once more. Kneeling by the edge, I watched the ripples dance under the last vestiges of sunlight. Infused with anticipation, I closed my eyes and listened again, welcoming the symphony of nature. As I did, a memory surfaced, a childhood encounter with a wise old woman who spoke of omens hidden within nature's embrace. She had told stories of travelers seeking guidance through the language of animals and the elements, urging that we learn to read the signs inscribed all around us. The memory ignited a flame of curiosity. Were the crows not just bearers of messages, but indeed, participants in an ancient lineage of wisdom? As the cause echoed above me, I opened my eyes and gazed once more at the lake. The shadows seemed to swirl there, and in that moment, a sudden thought materialized. What if the stone was a portal, a bridge connecting me to these guardians of wisdom? In a burst of inspiration, I took the stone in hand and whispered a question into the air, urging the universe to guide me towards deeper understanding. Suddenly, a gust of wind danced around me, sending ripples across the surface of the water that spoke in a language of movement. There, amid the shimmering reflections, something glinted, a strange object protruding from the soft mud of the lakebed. My breath hitched, drawn by an instinctual urge. I plunged my hand into the cool water and pulled the object free. It was a small, intricately carved amulet, resembling a wing, richly adorned with symbols I could barely decipher. The moment I held it, a profound connection surged through me. I felt my heart synchronize with the pulse of the earth, as though the amulet contained the very essence of flight and transcendence. I traced the carvings with reverent fingers, discovering spirals and marks that mirrored the patterns of the stone, weaving a narrative that intertwined my journey with the cosmos. As night descended, I settled beneath the stars with the amulet close to my heart. I recalled the wise woman's lessons, realizing that each symbol was a gateway to understanding not just myself, but the interconnectedness of all beings. I pondered the essence of symbols and their role in shaping our reality. Could these artifacts be more than passive reflections? Perhaps they were active dialogues between the seen and the unseen, urging us to expand our comprehension of existence itself. Caught in the web of my thoughts, I began to question what lay beyond the visible realm. Was there a deeper truth behind the fabric of our lives that invited exploration? As I stared at the night sky, I envisioned constellations of stories playing out, each star a symbol waiting to be unraveled. Mystic patterns began to emerge before me, threads leading toward future revelations. As sleep beckoned, I closed my eyes, welcoming the embrace of the amulet's energy, pondering this line of inquiry: what bridges do we need to cross to distill our understanding of the universe? And how can we navigate the sacred symbols of our journey so that they illuminate paths hidden in our immediate reality? These questions hung like stardust in the night, beautiful, elusive, and infinitely inviting. The next day dawned with a gentle mist that hung low over the park, shrouding the trees and pathways in an ethereal cloak. With the amulet nestled safely in my pocket, I felt a vibrant anticipation coursing through me, urging my feet to move toward the familiar yet unexplored realms of the park. Every step was suffused with a sense of purpose, as if the earth itself conspired to guide me. As I entered the park, the usual sights transformed in my perception. The trees stretched their branches like arms reaching out, beckoning me closer, while the birds flitted overhead, communicating in tones that felt like secrets crafted for my ears alone. An invitation. I paused by the ancient oak that had long stood sentinel over the grounds, its gnarled roots winding like veins through the earth. "What wisdom do you offer?" I whispered, feeling foolish yet compelled to speak. In response, a rustle among the leaves caught my attention. Below the oak, a weathered stone bench bore remnants of old carvings, seemingly forgotten by time. Intrigued, I crouched down to examine them, tracing the contours with my fingers. Here were symbols not unlike those on my amulet: a spiral, a figure entwined with roots, and a soaring bird. They resonated with a familiarity that sent shivers down my spine. Each carving seemed to pulse with potential stories, echoing the very essence of connection etched deep in the spirit of the earth. As I sat on the bench, immersing myself in the energy of the moment, a sudden flurry of crows descended nearby, their black feathers gleaming like polished obsidian against the muted earth tones. They gathered in a tight circle, cawing in a riot of sound, their eyes sparkling with mischief and knowing. It was as if they sought my attention, urging me to decipher their intentions. Curiosity piqued, I ventured closer, observing their movements. One crow hopped forward, cocking its head at an angle as though urging me to join in their dance. The amulet began to thrum with warmth, resonating with their energy. My heart raced. Were they inviting me to transcend the barriers of understanding, to unlock the language that flowed between all living beings? Compelled by an instinct I could not articulate, I began to mimic the crow's movements, flapping my arms in a clumsy semblance of their flight. To my surprise, the crows cawed excitedly, hopping closer as if encouraging my participation. In that moment, I realized, this was no ordinary encounter. It was an awakening, an invitation to engage with the very core of communication within nature, a testament to the universal language that thrummed beneath the surface of our separate existences. As the crows danced around me, I felt the boundaries of my identity blur with each movement. My laughter mingled with their calls, echoing through the air, weaving a vibrant tapestry of connection. My senses ignited, I began to perceive the park not merely as a collection of trees and pathways, but as a living entity, breathing and pulsating with life. Each symbol carved into stone, each note of cawing laughter, became a thread binding me to this vivid reality that was ever intertwined with the sacred experience of existence. Gradually, as the sun climbed higher, a profound quiet settled over the scene. The crows flew off, leaving me alone amidst the rustling leaves and the whispering wind. Sitting in silence, I reflected on this communion. What did it mean to engage so intimately with nature? How could it reshape my understanding of symbols, of sacred reality? Were the crows acting as mediators, urging me to grasp the intricacies of a language that transcended words? With my heart still pulsing from the joy of connection, I turned to the stone bench and traced the carvings once more. As I did so, a thought emerged, poignant and pressing. In our quest for spiritual understanding, what dialogues remain unexplored within us? And as I pondered my next steps, I felt the weight of anticipation for the signs yet to come, urging me to remain open to the mysteries that lay ahead, a landscape of symbols waiting for someone to decipher their sacred language. The following mornings unfurled like petals, each imbued with the hues of contemplation and discovery. I returned to the park daily, allowing its rhythmic whispers to weave into the fabric of my thoughts. Each visit felt charged, as if the air itself resonated with the unspoken truths I was beginning to glimpse. The amulet rested close to my heart, a companion in this journey of awakening, urging me to delve deeper into the world around me. On one particularly sunny morning, the sun filtered through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the ground. I found myself drawn once again to the ancient oak, its presence filling me with both reverence and curiosity. Today, however, something new commanded my focus. A narrow, winding trail that had previously gone unnoticed snaked its way between two copse-like formations of holly and elderberry. It beckoned to me with an unseen force, intriguing and slightly unsettling. With a quiet determination, I took a step onto the path, which quickly unfurled beneath my feet, leading me deeper into the heart of the park. The ambience shifted, the cacophony of the outside world softened, replaced by a symphony of rustling leaves and the distant sound of water trickling. Each footfall echoed a sense of wonder and anticipation, as though I had crossed into a sacred space where the mysteries of nature were waiting to unfold. After several moments, the path opened into a small glade adorned with wildflowers, their colors vibrant against the lush greens. In the center stood a crumbling stone pedestal, its surface covered in vibrant moss and adorned with small offering smooth pebbles, feathers, and withered flowers. A tingle of recognition coursed through me. It felt like a shrine, a place of reverence, a canvas where people had painted their intentions in silence over the ages. That I approached cautiously, feeling the weight of countless stories that seemed to coexist within the air. As I knelt beside the pedestal, something flickered in my peripheral vision, a movement beneath the rocks. Leaning closer, I uncovered a small, intricately carved box, its surface worn but adorned with spirals and figures reminiscent of the symbols I had seen etched on the bench near the oak. With trembling hands, I opened the box, revealing a set of delicate cards, each inscribed with symbols and fragmented phrases. They felt almost alive, pulsating with energy. Intrigued, I carefully examined each card, one by one, uncovering the potential they held. Depictions of elements, animals, and celestial bodies converged into a tapestry of meaning. An overwhelming urge surged within me, to unravel the stories they sought to tell. As I tossed the cards into the air, a soft breeze swept through the glade, carrying the fragments of my inquiry aloft. I watched them flutter down like fallen leaves, landing in grass and petals, each card whispering a message that danced tantalizingly just beyond my grasp. The songs of the park seemed to swell around me, affirming the significance of this moment, as if the universe conspired to imbue meaning into all that was unfolding. In that instant, a figure emerged from the shadows, a little girl, perhaps no older than 8, her eyes wide with curiosity. She carried a small wooden flute that gleamed as it caught the sunlight. Without a word, she approached and knelt beside me, her presence a quiet invitation to humor the magic of the moment. I marveled at her confidence, wondering if she, too, had been drawn to the symbols hidden within the sacred space. As the girl began to play, the notes danced through the air, intertwining with the energy of the cards scattered around us. It felt as though the melodies had awakened a language of their own, resonating with the earth beneath us. The wildflowers nodded in unison, swaying to the rhythm of the flute, while birds emerged from the trees, singing along as if they understood our communion. In this ethereal fusion of sound and symbolism, I felt the boundaries of my past encasing me begin to dissolve. The child's music became a thread connecting the depths of my own spirit to the wisdom of nature that surrounded us. I pondered, were the symbols on the cards and the ancient carvings all interconnected, unlocking a greater understanding of life's mysteries, one that had eluded me until now. As the final notes faded, the girl turned to me, her gaze penetrating and wise beyond her years. "What do you hear?" she asked softly, breaking the spell of silence. I hesitated, grappling with the weight of my own unspoken thoughts. What were the answers I truly sought? Had I discovered a path towards the sacred dialogue I yearned for, or was I merely circling the mystery, hesitant to step fully into the unknown? As she tucked the flute under her arm and began to gather the scattered cards, I couldn't shake the feeling that she held a key to something profound. Who was she, this possessor of understanding? Was she a guardian of the sacred, leading me towards a deeper exploration of the symbols that seemed to shape my existence? Lost in the rhythm of this exchange, a new question echoed through me. In our quest for understanding and connection, how do we embrace the voices that emerge from the depths of our being, and what hidden truths about ourselves do we risk uncovering along the way? The gentle rustling of the grass seemed to lean into my reflections, teasing the possibility of discoveries yet untold. The little girl finished gathering the cards with a grace that seemed beyond her years, her small fingers moving deftly over the delicate symbols as if recalling a forgotten language. She placed the last card gently back into the carved box, closing it with a finality that sent a ripple through the air, whispering of tucked-away secrets and stories yearning for revelation. As she stood, brushing petals and grass from her knees, her gaze pierced through me, an invitation both intimate and daunting. "You have to listen more closely," she said, her voice a mix of childlike wonder and ageless wisdom. "The symbols speak if you let them." I felt a rush of questions surge within me. What must I do to listen? What was it about these symbols that connected to my own longing? The glade seemed to stir, vibrating with possibilities, encouraging me to ask deeper questions. The music of nature pulsated around us, a song woven from the breaths of trees, fluttering wings, and whispered winds. On impulse, I asked her, "Where did these cards come from?" The little girl considered my question, tilting her head, the sunlight reflecting in her eyes like gleaming stars. "They were left by those who came before," she replied. "Every whispered intention, every song shared here lives on." Her words resonated within me, igniting an awareness that enveloped my thoughts. Could these cards be echoes of ancient wisdom? A dialogue with those who walked this path long before I ever stumbled upon it. I was beginning to sense a deeper realm, a collective memory shaping the very fabric of this sacred space. "I want to understand," I confessed, the words tumbling out before I could comprehend the gravity of my admission. "What do I do with them?" The girl studied me intently, as if sifting through the essence of my soul. "You must play your own flute," she stated simply, pointing to the small wooden flute resting in her grasp. "Sing your truth into the world." An unexpected thrill coursed through me, the notion of expression igniting a fire of curiosity in my chest. What would it mean to express my truth? Was this the key to unlocking not only the mystery of the symbols but also my own heart? As if sensing my thought, the girl smiled, her eyes sparkling. "Everyone carries a song inside them. The symbols connect you, and it's up to you to discover your song," she said, her fingers brushing against the flute's smooth surface, as if caressing a cherished memory. "You'll find it in the glade." As I watched her, I became acutely aware of my own heartbeat, the way it reverberated through the earth, harmonizing with the ancient oak nearby, and the soft rustle of the prairie grasses. Could it be? Could I find my voice among the whispers of time? Before I could ask her how to find my flute, she pointed toward the trees lining the other side of the glade. "Nature will show you." In her gaze, a wellspring of patience unfurled before me. I felt an absence of urgency, a soothing invitation to explore. With a newfound resolve, I rose to my feet and moved toward the cluster of trees. Their trunks stood strong and resolute, an ancestry of wisdom indicated by their gnarled branches and layered bark. I knew that within their shadows lay both challenge and opportunity, perhaps the way to my song began here. As I ventured closer, I stumbled upon small totems adorned with intricate patterns resembling those on the cards. They towered humbly as if keeping vigil over the glade. Each pulse of energy surged with life, guiding me into a sense of connection that felt both thrilling and daunting. I reached out, my fingers skimming over the rough surfaces, and was flooded with visions, serene forests, rivers kissed by moonlight, and the sound of laughter carried through the air. Each touch ignited memories long buried within me, buoying questions about my own journey. Does my truth echo within the voices of nature? Am I tied to these symbols in a way that uncovers my hidden self? As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the glade transformed. Shadows stretched and played, illuminating patterns on the ground resembling the celestial bodies depicted on the cards, a cosmic dance that beckoned connection and contemplation. With an overwhelming urgency to internalize this experience, I turned back toward the little girl, eager to share my discoveries and newfound questions. Yet, in the brief moment I looked away, she vanished into the shifting light, leaving behind only the lingering notes of her flute hanging in the air like enlightening secrets waiting to be unearthed. My heart thrummed with unrestrained wonder. Who was she, truly? Had she been a guide or simply an aspect of my own longing for truth? In the silence that enfolded me, a greater question arose. What if the song I sought was not merely about finding my voice, but about embracing the myriad truths that surround you? Echoes of the past, whispers of nature, and our intricate stories woven into the fabric of existence. The lingering energy pulsed through the glade, a gentle reminder that the search was only just beginning, and within that journey lies the heartbeat of the universe, waiting to be heard. As the last hues of sun melted into twilight, a captivating stillness enveloped the glade. The air thickened with anticipation, urging me to delve deeper into my exploration. I adjusted my focus, letting the enchantment of the moment wash over me like a soft breeze, and soon found myself wandering beyond the towering totems. The symbols carved into their surfaces glinted faintly, as if aware of the stories threading through their forms that I stepped away from the comforting presence of the trees and ventured toward the untrammeled undergrowth nearby. The route seemed to pulse with life, a subtle rhythm orchestrated by the calling of night creatures. Each rustle of leaves hinted at secrets waiting to be discovered. Could more symbols be hidden here, weaving together threads of wisdom I had yet to unveil? It wasn't long before I stumbled upon a cluster of stones, their rough edges adorned with faded etchings that seemed to shimmer in the dimming light. As I crouched down to inspect them closely, I felt an exhilarating rush of recognition. These too bore the same designs as the cards and the totems. Had they been part of a larger tapestry, one that embraced the myriad forms of expression cascading through time, touching the stones brought forth a kaleidoscope of sensations, the weight of history and reverence reverberated through me. I closed my eyes to immerse myself fully within the moment, breathing in the scent of damp earth and the musky aroma of the forest floor. Visions began to dance behind my lids, figures of ancient people, their stories alive in the flickering shadows, each character a note in the symphony of existence. Your truth is a legacy, a voice, soft yet powerful, whispered beyond the edges of my consciousness, resonating through the very fibers of my being. Startled, I opened my eyes and looked around. There was no one there, save the stones, standing sentinel to unknowable histories. Was that the same voice that had prompted me to seek my song? Brushing aside fragments of doubt, I decided to allow the symbols to guide my perception. Drawing closer to the stones, I placed my palm upon a particularly worn surface. The moment I became attuned to their rhythm, waves of energy surged through me, memories of laughter, song, and creation unfurling like petals bathed in sunlight. It became extraordinarily clear the symbols were alive, interconnected, beckoning me to unite my essence with them and the land. An invigorating understanding blossomed within. The symbols were more than just relics, they represented the untold stories of countless souls, harmonizing with the universe. As I uncovered their meanings, I felt a gentle pull requiring me to contribute my own notes to this unfolding narrative. But what did I possess to offer? What identity flowed through my veins alongside the legacies of the past? Lost in contemplation, I noticed movement from the corner of my eye. A fox, lithe and curious, emerged from the thicket, its coat glowing like a flicker of fire against the twilight canvas. For a heartbeat, it regarded time stretched like a taut string. There was a wild knowing in its gaze, a reflection of ancient wisdom, as if it bore witness to my very quest. I felt an instinctual connection blossom between us, a whisper of intuition that spoke of journeys, both past and present. The fox then turned, its spirit radiating a knowingness that urged me to follow. I hesitated only for a moment, driven by an inscrutable instinct to trust. The softness of the earth beneath my feet felt alive, guiding me forward. As I trailed the graceful creature, moments of clarity washed over me, stories worth sharing, revelations yearning to intertwine, rising from the depths of my soul. Each step toward the fox held promise, a resonating echo of the little girl's reminder. Finding my own flute that we wandered deeper into the embracing thickets, where the landscape unfurled into a glimmering expanse of silver moonlit grass. Here, vibrant flowers swayed in delicate synchrony, their sweetness intoxicating. It was a canvas alive with the essence of creation, where the chorus of nature seemed to amplify the music of my heart. Before long, the fox paused and sat beneath the towering branches of an elder tree, whose trunk bore ridges as profound as the mountains. It tilted its head, an invitation clear in its silent gaze. I knelt in reverence, placing my fingers in the loose earth beneath me, feeling the pulse of life resonate through my being. As I closed my eyes once more, waiting for my song to rise from within, a blinking flash caught my attention. Was it a firefly, or perhaps a star spinning in the air? The thought lingered, and then a new question took root. In our search for truth, how often do we let ourselves forget the light that flickers within us, a light shaped by both the blissful moments and the shadows we carry? Emboldened, I opened my heart to the cosmos, the melody of every memory crafting an opulent tapestry in my spirit. Yet doubt brushed against my thoughts like cool mist. Would I ever fully uncover my song, or would its echoes remain elusive, slipping just beyond my grasp? As the fox faded into the shadows of night, leaving me surrounded by the whispers of ancient trees and glowing blossoms, I sat entranced by the unfurling mystery before me. I knew my awakening had just begun, a journey that would intertwine my essence with the symbols of the world around me and the pulses of truth hidden everywhere I turned. Each unanswered question forged a pathway to exploration, an ever-unfolding invitation to listen more closely. In the days that followed, life took on a shimmering quality, every moment charged with the electric pulse of possibility. The glade felt like a sanctuary in which truths danced just on the periphery of perception, waiting for the right moment to pull back the curtain. I had surrendered myself to the journey, leaning into the teachings of symbols, the wisdom of nature, and the stirring questions that arose from deep within me. Each morning, as dawn broke and the sun cast its golden hue upon the familiar paths of the park, I found myself drawn into communion with the world around me. I would sit beneath the ancient oak, tracing the spirals and figures carved into its trunk, allowing their energy to wash over me like gentle waves. I spoke to the trees, the flowers, the crows. I shared my thoughts and ponderings, my fears and hopes, as if all of life were engaged in an intricate conversation. Then one evening, under the brilliance of the full moon, I felt a calling so profound that every fiber of my being vibrated with anticipation. The glade was alive, the air thrumming with secrets, the light bathing everything in a silvery glow. It was as if the universe itself had conspired to gather all the threads of my journey into one tapestry. The messages of the symbols crescendoed into a harmonious song, urging me to step forward, to embrace the unknown. That I knelt beside the stone pedestal where I had first discovered the intricate cards, my heart racing as I unlatched the box and laid the cards out in the ritual formation I had begun to embrace. Each symbol now felt like a familiar friend, a portal to understanding the intricacies of my soul. I breathed deeply, my heart synced with the rhythm of nature, and I allowed the moonlight to illuminate the strands of insight woven into the fabric of each card. A vision enveloped me, pulling me into the depths of my being. The shapes and colors coalesced into images that resonated with memories, fears, and desires. In that sacred moment, I understood, each symbol was not just a ring of energy. It was a reflection of the sacred dance between self and universe, an invitation to recognize the shared experience of existence. What if, I thought to myself, the journey of symbols is not just about finding meaning but understanding the unfolding of our very essence? The realization pierced through, for every symbol I encountered was an echo of my own soul, a reminder that we are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it. To engage with these symbols was to strengthen the bond that ties us to everything, every heartbeat, every breath, every life. With newfound clarity, I stood beneath the moonlight, feeling a surge of passion rise within me. I turned to the glade, filled with wonder at how deeply my journey was intertwined with every spirit that had walked this earth before me and would continue to do so. As the night air enveloped me, I realized my song was about to emerge not just from within, but as a symphony of all that had come before and all that lay ahead. Can I sing my truth into this world? I whispered into the vastness, my voice trembling with the weight of sacred intention. The trees rustled gently, a chorus of agreement. The moonlight sparkled like 1,000 stars twinkling back in affirmation. As I embraced the moment, I felt the presence of the little girl and the fox, interwoven with the souls of those who had wandered this way before. The song of existence resonated within me, a melody of joy, sorrow, laughter, and terse, a reminder that every experience added to the depth of my being. In that space and time, a profound awakening washed over me. I grasped the truth that there would always be hidden layers, continuous questions to explore, and landscapes to traverse. The symbols would shift and evolve, guiding me through the labyrinth of my existence. Yet, at the center of it all remained my voice, my unique expression woven into the great tapestry of life, my sacred reality. With that understanding came a wave of inner peace, a quiet acceptance of what was and what was yet to come. The glade shimmered with the light of 1,000 possibilities, and I looked up at the moon in gratitude. In that moment, I made a promise to myself, to embrace my journey with an open heart, to listen to the whispers of the universe as they danced around me, and to express my truth boldly, without fear of the unknown. As I exhaled into the cool night air, a sense of resolution filled me. The symbols had become my companions, guiding me toward the depths of my own spirit, urging me to unlock the doors of perception that awaited. I took a step forward, ready to embrace the unfolding story of my life, the beautiful, intricate journey that held the potential for profound awakening. And as the last touch of twilight faded and the stars blanketed the sky, I understood this universal truth: we are all part of a sacred dance, encircled by the stories that connect us all, calling us to listen closely, to speak our truth, and to find our song amidst the symphony of existence.